Thank you, honorable members. Please be seated. Honorable members, we will resume as the Committee of Supply. The House is now in committee. And we have the Guyana Defence Force, Agency 53. I invite you to go to pages 410 and 411. Just give us a few moments to get organized. Everyone is with me. Honorable Minister, your team is ready. Honorable members, I now propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 53, Guyana Defence Force, Program 531, Defense and Security Support, current expenditure, forms part of the estimates. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
I'd like to refer to line item 6116, contracted employees. There's a sum of 323,400,000 that's budgeted for, but of course the staffing details are not there, which I understand that to be a security issue. The question though, Mr. Chairman, is that I'd like to ask is what are these contracted employees going to do? Is it that they are contracting out defense services? And if so, what are these services that are being contracted out?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and Honourable Member. The increase relates to 80 civilian employees who were formerly catered for under 6115. So they have been moved to 6116 on contract.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
And there's no increase in the numbers. It's the same persons that were the 80 persons who were under 6115 in previous budgets.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
While the figures may remain the same, Mr. Chairman, the numbers are significantly different. The actual allocation to these numbers is significantly different. So I'd just like to get some explanation for that.
Honorable Minister. Microphone.
This heading included before the CDC staff who have now been moved to Office of the Prime Minister. And these 80 civilian employees I spoke of earlier are specialists. who are hired as civilians in the GDF. And as I said, they were there before. There's no increase in the numbers, and they've been paid before. What has happened now is the GDF has rectified where they should be placed. They were in 6115, and now they're in 6116, which is a correction of where they were located in the budget items.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Chairman, as I said, we usually do not question the staffing details, but under 6116, usually the contracted employees are stated there. His Excellency the President had made a very clear statement that there was going to be in place something called a border patrol team. But since we don't give any of these figures here, my question is whether they are included in the current staffing numbers for the GDF, or whether in fact they're going to be a special unit that will be contracted out under contract employees.
Honourable Member, they're included in the staffing of the total GDF. And as per norm, the staffing details, since I've been a Member of Parliament, which is a long time ago, the staffing details have never been broken down for the GDF. No, I just clarifying for your new members.
Honorable Member Mr. Mahipon.
Sir, can the Honorable Minister say how many CDC staff were transferred to Office of the Prime Minister?
21 members, staff of the CDC were transferred from this head to Office of the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member Mr. Mahipon.
Sir, there is increased allocations for total wages and salaries, which is an indication that staff has increased. But I noticed that 6221, there is a reduction. 6222, there's a reduction. And 6224, there is a reduction. I would like to have some clarity on 6221, especially given that we are in a COVID pandemic, and why is there a reduction in drugs and medical supply when there's an increase in personnel in terms of staff?
Honorable Minister.
The reason, Mr. Honourable Member, of the what I think is about $10 million decline or reduction has to do with the fact that this would have catered for the CDC, and this now no longer includes the CDC staff of 21. So they will now be catered under OPM in terms of drugs and medical supplies.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, this is a good time now to put Honorable Member Mr. Mahipon.
Sir, I am a new member, so I'm not sure if the Honorable Minister will be kind enough to break down 6284 and 6294.
Honorable Minister.
6284 generally is for software licenses, force events, laundering of uniforms and other services relating to the Army. And 6294, these are related to, again, service operations of the GDF, medical reagents, uniform material, specialized kits, etc.
Honorable Member Mr. Mahipon.
Sir, the sums allocated under these two line items are large sums, and I do recognize that the Honorable Minister attempt to explain what they're for, and I'm trusting that given that she did not call it out in terms of how much money is allocated to whatever she called out, is it possible that the Honorable Minister can lay over the document that breaks down 6284 and 6294, sir?
Honorable Minister.
I appreciate the member's question. However, what I gave in terms of the general areas are basic operations of the GDF, of our Army, and that it would be difficult to do breakdowns, as of course there are other issues included in that that are as a security nature. And it is not normal for us to do layovers with the GDF internal budget.
Thank you. Mr. Maipod.
Sir, well, may I
Honorable
be
member.
specific and ask how much money is allocated specifically for uniform? Because the Honorable
You sure you
knows-
want to ask that? Because then you can get all kinds of extrapolations.
Sir, with all due respect, I know I am a member of the Public Accounts Committee, and the Honorable Minister is also a member
Honorable
of the
Minister?
Public Accounts Committee.
How many money allocated? How much? What's the sum allocated specifically for uniform?
6284 relates to laundering of the uniforms. So I'm not sure, that depends on how they use them and if they get dirty and if they have ceremonial occasions where they have to take them out of the closets and get them ready. 6294 deals with, let's see, yeah, uniform material. So all we can give you is maybe a uniform material in terms of quantum. But obviously there would be differences in the different ranks and ceremonial versus when they go into the jungle, in the rainforest, and when they're in their normal uniforms.
Honorable members, this is a good time to put the question that the sums stated for Agency 53, Program 531, Defense and Security Support, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum now stands part of the estimates. We can turn to page 667. Honorable members, I now propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 53, Guyana Defence Force, Program 531, Defense and Security Support, capital expenditure now forms part of the estimates. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Chairman, line item 120000100. It speaks to the question of buildings, and we are allocating a sum of $300 million. And in the legend it says, provision for building, fence, quarters, and payment of retention. The Speaker, the project details talks about payment of a retention, construction of defense headquarters, passenger lounge, mess hall, etc. The question I want to ask, please, Mr. Chairman, is whether in fact this is a new defense headquarters that is being constructed, and if so, it is whether it is going to be on the same site. That's the first question.
Honorable Minister.
There are 4 projects that are rollovers with a 50% retention rollover for 4 buildings, new troop accommodation, Tamiri, the arms store, Region 7 drill hall, and Region 8 drill hall. In regards to the question relating to the Defense Board of Defense, new defense headquarters, due to revision in the budgets prior to the finalization of the budget, the defense headquarters was removed from the budget, and therefore the profile doesn't reflect what is the case. So the new defense board is not budgeted in at this point in the GDF.
Thank you. Honorable Member, Ms. Bess.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Project code 2800-100 pure water supply. I see the sum of 40 million allocated to this area. Just wondering if it is for a construction of a new well, or is it line services is new and to different
Could we ask the, Mr. Chairman, for the young lady to speak louder? I know the mask is muffling her. She doesn't have a big voice like mine.
Okay. You hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Okay.
Thank you.
2800-100 pure water supply. I'm looking at the allotted sum. I'm asking if it is a new well, or is it lines that will be run to the various buildings for the provision of pure water.
Honorable Minister.
Yeah, this is really to do more, not so much with construction, but with improving the distribution of the potable water for the ranks in the GDF at different locations across the country. So this isn't actually digging new well, or it's really dealing with distribution issues.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, please. Chairman 120-0300 Marine Development. I go to project code 291. It speaks, Mr. Chairman, to the construction of bases and the procurement of boats, outboard engines, and equipment. $225 million. Could the Honorable Minister be a bit more specific and provide some details about the base, if that is not a security issue, or boats, if they are not a security issue? If it is, in fact, I will accept that. But if it is not, could you please provide the details?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Yeah. Yeah, in this program 225, there's no provision for new bases or for boats, large boats that is. What are the other provisions have to do with smaller engines for the marine section, as well as just basic areas of that.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
This really is a misdescription of what the project really is. Mr. Chairman, I go to the next line item, which is Air, Land, and Water Transport, 240-4600, and that's project code 292.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, no, I'm not.
Sorry.
I haven't asked the question yet. Mr. Chairman, there's a sum here of 350 million, and it is again for the procurement of trucks, vehicles, outboard engine, and boats. So here is another project with the same procurement. So boats will be procured under this, and if so, what type of boats they will be?
Honorable Minister.
Just to answer, Honourable Member, when you ask questions on marine development, which is 1200300, that is specific to the Coast Guard. When we deal with the question now, 240-4600, 4600 Air, Land and Water Transport, that is the GDF. So that, so just to be clear on that, the distinction, and that in this one we have a series of vehicles and small, relatively small outboard engines that are involved in this one for the use of the GDF in the interior locations of Guyana.
Honorable Leader of the
It's a
Opposition.
very fine distinction, I must say, Mr. Chairman, because the assets, the marine assets of the GDF usually come under the Coast Guard. So stuff that are specific to the Coast Guard are specific to the Coast Guard. But I wouldn't make a big fuss out of this. I'll go to the next next item, please. Mr. Chairman, that is air, land, and water transport again. There is, Mr. Chairman, in our last budget, under this subline, we did make provision for the purchase of some helicopters. I see here we are building launch and so on for, I suppose, for the aircraft. I'm just trying to get a sense now, in fact, whether in fact this aircraft has arrived and whether we have actually catered for the maintenance and the scheduling maintenance for the aircraft that we budgeted for in the last year.
The Bell helicopter that we had in the supplementary last year will be arriving on Saturday in Guyana. And the questions you're asking now should have been asked when we were dealing with the program for the current program for the GDF, because the preparation for the operational cost and maintenance of that would be under the current budget, not capital.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, well, since we're under capital, maybe let me go back and ask specifically about this launch that is being built. The launch that is being built. What is it for and where is it going to be?
Minister.
Yeah, the lounge you're asking for is provided for, and it will be at the Air Corps, be located at the Air Corps up at Tamiri.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members. Honorable Member Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. Item 2800-200, Agriculture Development. We see here the provision for land development as well as a processing plant. Could the Honorable Minister indicate whether the land development is at the Garden of Eden? If not, where? And as well, where is the processing plant and equipment being for?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Yes, sir, it is at the Garden of Eden, as you asked.
Thank you, Honorable Leader of the Opposition. Honorable.
I was just basically following up on the Chief Whip's, the opposition chief's question, and that is the second part of it, which has to do with the processing plant, and whether in fact that is also at the Garden of Eden or some place else.
Honorable.
In fact, what is it really processing? Sorry.
Honorable Minister.
Both to answer both questions, the location is Garden of Eden, that's where the processing will go on and the development, and also, as you know, Garden of Eden produces a lot of swine, and so this will be production of bacon or ham, I guess, as well as I see my colleague, Mr. Ramjatan, suddenly wake up when he heard that. And, and the inclusion of poultry rearing and probably some form of processing there.
Thank you. Honorable Member Mr. Jones, you had a query, but that's okay now. Honorable members, this is a good time to put a question that the sum stated for Agency 53, Guyana Defence Force, Program 531, Defense and Security Support Capital Expenditure forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The sum now stands part of the estimates. Let me take this opportunity to thank the Minister and the officers of the GDF for taking us through that head.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Let me move.
As we allow for the Honorable Prime Minister and his staff to get into position, let us turn to pages 78 and 79. Honorable Prime Minister. And PM, you can use the other table, so we allow for the sanitizing of the one that was just in use. Thank you. Honorable Prime Minister and his team is in place. Honorable members, at 1:47. I put the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 21, Prime Minister's Secretariat, current expenditure. Sorry, I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 21, Prime Minister's Secretariat, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Mr. Mahipol, Honorable Member.
Thank you, sir. Sir, line item 6114. Sir, the staffing details indicate 13 staff in 2021 and 13 in 2020. And similar to what occurred earlier, I'm seeing a decrease. My calculations tell me once all goes well in terms of the staff and salary, it is supposed to be 15,636,000, but instead I'm seeing 12,687,000. Can the Honorable Minister be kind enough to say why the difference, the reduction? And I'm assuming, sir, that these are staff on the fixed establishment.
Honorable Member Mr. Mahipol, you could get us a bit confused. You have to say based on your calculation, because as far as I see, it's not a reduction, but based on how you calculate, it's below what could accommodate these people, right? So that's, at least for me, and I am very slow, you know. Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Mahipol the honorable member has calculated that the sum required would be higher than stated. Am I putting it the other way correctly, Mr. Mahipol, honorable member?
If I should answer, Speaker, the staff fund remains the same, and maybe I should read it out. Typist clerk 2, employed $92,000, 588. Clerk 3, transfer from Ministry of Public Telecommunications with effect from 2020-10-01, salary $76,000, 166. Driver mechanic.
Sir, may I ask if I can
No,
just...
allow him to answer, then you can come back.
Driver mechanic transferred from Ministry of Public Telecommunications with effect from 2020-10-01, salary $70,000. Accounts clerk transfer from Ministry of Public Telecommunications with effect 2020-10-01, salary $73,000. Clerk 3 transfer from Ministry of Public Telecommunications with effect 2020-10-01, $76,821. Office assistant transfer from Ministry of Public Telecommunications with effect 2020-10-01, $70,000. Clerk 3 transfer from Ministry of Public Telecommunications with effect 2010-01, $77,528. Clerk 3 transfer from with effect 2020-10-01, $77,538. Those are the details.
Honorable member, Mr. Mahipol.
Thank you, sir. So clearly, sir, the staff members that were transferred effective October 1, 2020, those are the staff that complement the 13 in 2020. Those are the very 13 that are now in 2021. In 2020, these 13 staff for 3 months were paid $3,909,000. You divide that by 3, and then you multiply it by 12, and you will get, sir, $15,636,000 based on my calculation. The budgeted sum in 2021 here is $12,687,000. From my calculation, sir, it is a deficit of anywhere around $3 million plus. And the Honorable Prime Minister was kind enough to say that the very staff they have in 2020 is what they now have in 2021. Could I endeavor to get some guidance from the Honorable Prime Minister?
Honorable Prime Minister.
It's an increase, honorable member, for 12 months.
The Honorable Prime Minister is an increase for 12 months.
Sir, I do recognize that. I'm saying, sir, the $3,909,000 is a 3 months period, sir.
Okay, let us get the Prime Minister's staff to guide him again. We don't need to repeat 3 times.
No, after I heard him answer and said
Yes.
an increase.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the 12,687 is adequate to pay the salary for 12 months.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipol.
Thank you, sir. Sir, if I may again go to the very line item, it is visible there that it's $12,687,000 as the Honorable Prime Minister alluded to. But I'm saying to you, sir, to you, to the Honorable Prime Minister, through you, that if we are paying the staff the same money we paid them in 2020, October, November, and December, are we paying the staff in 2021 the same monies we paid them in October, November, and December?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we're paying the same salary, and the sum listed that I mentioned earlier is adequate to pay the salary in 2021.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member Mr. Mahipol, you have to move on to a new question.
Sir, but if I'm guided correctly, it's our time to ask the question. If we're not satisfied with an answer,
Well, there's 4 times you've asked the same question in a different format.
Sorry,
The
but
Prime
it is
Minister
still,
says that the sum stated will adequately provide for the existing staff based on the same salaries. I don't know.
Sir, but with all due respect, my
Go ahead, Mr.
understanding
Mahipol.
is that
Go ahead
we
for
are
number
using
5.
our time. Am I incorrect with that? That we're using our time?
I agree, the time is yours.
So if
but
all
there's
my
also,
questions-
Honorable, but there's also an issue with repeating to the extent of becoming badgering.
Sir,
But you can get a 5th bite of the cherry now.
so if I may seek your guidance, sir, if I want to ask all the questions and exhaust all the time on this one, sir, may I engage you now? I'm asking if I want to ask all the questions on this one line item, is that not permitted?
Honorable member, if any member wants to ask the same question 5 times, I will cite the standing order with respect to repetition. If you want to ask different issues surrounding the same item, I will allow it.
Thank you, sir. Kindly engage me with one more question pertaining
Please,
to the
sir,
same
go
line
ahead,
item.
honorable member.
And just for emphasis, I wish to repeat that, sir, in 2020, we paid the 13 staff 3,909,000. And we divide that by 3, as I said earlier, sir, you get 1,303,000. And when you multiply it by 12, sir, you get 15,636,000. I'm repeating it to understand how is it that 12 million will cater for the same 13 staff.
Thank you. Honorable Prime Minister, how is it that this 12 million will cater for the same 13?
Mr. Speaker, in 2020, we had some mergers and we had some separations. Figure remains the same, but because of these movements of people, okay, that is what is reflected here. I wish to assure the honorable member that the amount listed is adequate to pay this 13 staff for 2021.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Nina Flobes.
Line item 6116, contracted employees. I see there is an increase of 5 new contracted employees. So the Honorable Prime Minister, give us the designation of the 5 new contracted employees and their emoluments. Thank you.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, to answer the honorable member's question, the new employees, receptionists, $70,000 with effect from 2020-11-09. Office of the Prime Minister, digital communications officer, salary, $70,000 with effect from the 20th of November 2020. Regional representative salary, $236,000. Allowances, telephone, and other allowances with effect from the 10th of August 2020. Confidential secretary, $160,000. Duty allowance, $20,000. Telephone allowance, $5,000 with effect from the 16th of October 2020. Personal assistant to the Honorable Prime Minister, the salary of $300,000. Duty allowance 20,000, telephone 10, with effect from 2020-08-10.
Honorable Member Mr. Mahipod.
Thank you, sir. Line item 6131. Would the Honorable Prime Minister be kind enough to say if there are staff members under his watch currently that are acting in positions, or if they are performing additional duties other than their own?
Honorable Prime Minister.
The allocation, Mr. Speaker, cater for acting allowance for Assistant Secretary General, $72,041. Acting allowance for EPMA 1, $22,208. Duty allowance for 1, $45,000. Acting allowance, for Assistant Accountant, $26,789. Acting allowance, $3,201. Duty allowance for 4 drivers and 2 driver mechanic, $15,000 each. Duty allowances for 2 confidential secretary, $10,000 each.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member Mr. Mahipod.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the positions that currently attract actors, is the Office of the Prime Minister going to soonest explore the option of filling those vacancies through the Public Service Commission, advertising and employing, going through the normal procedure of the Public Service Commission to fill those vacancies that currently has actors?
Honorable Prime Minister, I don't think that pertains to specific sum allocated, but please.
I didn't hear you, Mr. Speaker.
The honorable member is speaking about filling the vacancies that exist because we have a lot of acting appointments.
Mr. Speaker, we are on course of doing this now, but I wish to mention that this is a sore issue that we had inherited on assuming office.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member Mr. Mahipod.
Sir, thank you. Thank you. If I may have a follow-up, I'm happy to hear that the Honorable Prime Minister is trying his utmost to fix the issue. May I ask if notice was already given to the Public Service Commission so that they can commence the process to fill those vacancies?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to remind the honorable member that the PSC is an independent body. It is my duty to decide when to take the necessary action.
Sir, with your permission, I agree and accept fully that the Public Service Commission is independent. When there is a vacancy that is available in a ministry, it is the permanent secretary's duty, sir, to notify the Public Service Commission so that they can place the advertisement and commence the process. My question is to fill these vacant positions where we're paying actors from on the line item 6131. Have you, sir, Honorable Prime Minister, commenced the process by way of notifying the Public Service Commission so that advertising and so on and the necessary process can start to fill these vacancies?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to again assure the honorable member that I will take necessary action as I see fit. The matter is being discussed with the senior executives in my agency.
Honorable Member Mr. Mahipod.
Thank you, sir. Sir, if I may have one more question on this very line item where we have all these actors. Will the Prime Minister endeavor to commence or to advance the process so that we can fill these vacancies and they can have substantive appointment before the end of March to start the process at least?
Honorable members, is there another question on this item? I'd like to put the head. Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated
No,
for
sir,
Go ahead, sir. Let me hear the question, honorable member.
sir, 6284 and 6284. Can the Honorable Prime Minister please give a breakdown of 6284?
Honorable Prime Minister. Please allow the Prime Minister
You received
to answer the question.
justification. Mr. Speaker, justification, policy oversight, sector require technical skills. As a result, consultants in this sector are highly skilled and will be remunerated commensurate to their skills.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Gangster is not a word we use in the Assembly, Honorable Minister of Labor. Please, you could read. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipur.
Sir, line item 6264, would the Honorable Prime Minister be kind enough to say how many vehicles are in the fleet?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the vehicles in the fleet, 15 vehicles, PLL 4661, PSS 744, PSS 742, CK 3361, CK 2700, PPP 10, PVV 1782, PWW 5214, PPP 12, PXX 3393, PXX 5681, PSS 6, PTT 3303, PRR 8646, PSS 3034, PZZ 4373, three motorcycles.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipur.
Sir, maintenance of other infrastructure, could the Honorable Minister say 6255? Which infrastructure?
Honorable Prime Minister. Please don't mention the word bangle. The leading juror in the country told me every time we say bangle in the house, sales drop.
Mr. Speaker, the honorable member, 6255 cater for the maintenance of the outdoor facilities, including the swimming pool that was inherited, and therefore the Prime Minister, being a resident there, will have to do the responsible thing and maintain the pool.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Holder.
Mr. Speaker, line item 6283, cleaning and extermination services. In 2019, the government spent $1,697,000. In 2020, the government budgeted $5 million, but only spent $2,583,000. How do you justify budgeting $8 million for the year 2021, given that you only spent $1 million, under $2 million in 2019?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, in 2020, the Ministry of Health had helped in the fumigation of both premises, the office of the Prime Minister and the official residence of the Prime Minister. However, this year we have to fund the fumigation and other activities. Therefore, the increase in budget.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable members, this is a good time to put the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 21, Prime Minister's Secretariat, current expenditure, forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Can we turn to page 618? Capital Expenditure, Prime Minister's Secretariat, Program 21. And I now propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 21, Prime Minister's Secretariat, Capital Expenditure, forms part of the estimates. The Honorable Chief Whip for the Opposition, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. Item 17010000, minor works, provision for buildings. It is explained here that, amongst other things, design and construction of a building, rehabilitation of the official residence of the Prime Minister. My question is it the official residence of the Prime Minister as current, or is it the official residence of the Prime Minister as in the building?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the breakdown of the sum: renovation of ceiling, official residence of the Prime Minister, $6 million. Renovation of windows, repairs to the windows, official residence of the Prime Minister, $5,530,000. Renovation to fire escape, official residence of the Prime Minister. It's a 5-story building, by the way. 3 living areas and 2 towers. And therefore the need for a fire escape, and it will be $6.5 million for that renovation of fire escape. And with regards to the construction of the new office, that's a 2 years project, and $150 million will be expended in 2021 towards the design and consultancy related to the start of that project.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jones.
Thank you. Follow-up. Could the Honorable Prime Minister indicate where this building is going to be constructed?
Honorable Prime Minister.
That's on Hatfield Street, the whole NFMU building.
Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Program 21, Prime Minister's Secretariat, capital expenditure forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those honorable member, Mr. Jones.
My apologies, Comrade Chairman. Item 240400, land transport. We have a sum of $23 million. Could the Honorable Prime Minister indicate the type and quantity of vehicles to be purchased?
Honorable Prime Minister.
The sum represents the purchase of 2 escort cars. As you know, the Prime Minister inherited some vehicles from the former Prime Minister, who had inherited those same vehicles and never changed them. So those vehicles need changing now. And likewise for the household, an SUV.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Mr. Chair, same line item, sir, but in 2020 budget, the Prime Minister can remember you had 18.8 million, and in that profile you had purchase of a vehicle. Can the Prime Minister say what type of vehicle and what cost of the vehicle that you purchased in 2020? And now the new vehicles that you are purchasing, budgeting to purchase, sir.
Well,
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, you know the difference, 80 million versus $8.5 million. I don't know if you want all the details, but this is a vehicle for the second lady.
Mr. Speaker, I thought I was clear, sir. Sir, the 2020 budgets are purchase of a vehicle. That's in the capital profile. And obviously, sir, at the end of 2021, January 1, 2021, the purchase would have been completed. So all I'm asking the Prime Minister, in 2020, you budgeted monies to purchase a vehicle. What type of vehicle did you purchase and the cost, and what are the vehicles that you are budgeting now, the type you're budgeting now to finish?
Honorable Member, before I ask the Prime Minister, earlier today, we have addressed the issue of allocations in 2020. So I'm not going to be too lenient with respect to questions relating to, I'm speaking, sir, would you take your seat? Yes. I am not going to be too lenient with respect to asking about sums allocated in 2020 for 2020. We had that opportunity. And I think the Prime Minister did answer what he was going to get, 2 escort vehicles along with an SUV with the current budget. But should I have heard differently, I will ask the Prime Minister if he would answer again.
Mr. Speaker, an off-road vehicle was purchased in 2020 for the Prime Minister to use on his outreaches. The Prime Minister is in possession of that vehicle. I don't have to answer the question to Honorable Member.
Thank you. Honorable Member Watson. Honorable members, I put the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 21, Prime Minister's Secretariat, capital expenditure forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. We can turn our attention to pages 80 and 81. Trust that we're all on the same pages, and I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 22, Disaster Preparedness, Response and Management, current expenditure forms part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Manipos.
Thank you, sir. Earlier, when we were dealing with the Guyana Defence Force, the Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs was kind enough to say that 21 staff from the Civil Defence Commission was transferred under the office of the Prime Minister. I'm now looking at 61. I'm looking from 6111 to 6117, and I'm seeing no reference nor record of the 21 staff. Can the Honorable Minister, Prime Minister, say where the 21 staff is located?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, if the honorable member would look on the staffing details at 6116, you will see 25 contracted employees. Training officer, salary 201,954 with effect from 2021-01-01. Project manager, salary 227,174 with effect from 2021-01-01. Senior logistics officer, salary 143,428. Duty allowance $2,000 with effect from 2021-01-01. Procurement officer salary 192,352. Duty allowance $10,000 with effect from 2021-02-03. Motor operation transport officer, the salary of 192,352. Uniform allowance 6,000. Obviously, he has to wear overalls and so. With effect 2021-01-21. Warehouse supervisor, salary of $256,402. Traveling allowance $13,000. Uniform allowance with effect 2021-01-01. Handyman, salary 105,777. And another handyman at 94,513, with the allowance $4,000 respectively, with effect from 2021-01-01. Driver, salary 133, again with the allowance of 6,000, with effect from 2021-01-01. Driver, 133,428. The allowance is 6,000. CBDRM officer, salary 192,352, with effect from 2020-06-30. Boat operator, salary 161,769, with effect from 2020-01-01. IT officer, salary 246,587, with effect 2021-01-01. That's two IT officers. Administrative officer, 192,353. Allowance is 7,280. Monitoring and evaluation specialist, salary 291,934. EOC, Emergency Operations Center Supervisor, salary 132,644. With effect from 2021-01-01. Finance clerk, salary 169, with effect 2021-01-01. Driver, the salary of 133. Again, the uniform allowance is 6,000, with effect 2020-09-30. Driver 132,665. Uniform allowance 6,000 with effect from 2021-01-01. Secretary, the salary of 126,869 with effect 2021-01-01. Cleaner, the salary of 82,010 with effect 2021-01-01. Finance supervisor, salary 142, the duty allowance $10,000 in effect 2020-0701. Training officer, the salary 201, 954, duty allowance $10,000 in effect 2020-0701.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipol.
Thank you, sir. Sir, may I ask the Honorable Prime Minister if the 21 staff from the Civil Defense Commission that the Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs alluded to that was transferred to his ministry or his office, if those 21 are included in the 25 contracted employees on the line item 6116?
Honorable Prime Minister.
The answer to the honorable member questions is yes,
Thank you,
they're
Honorable.
included in the 25.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipol.
Thank you, sir. So if I am correct, the 21 that was transferred plus 4 addition will give you 25. And based on the answer the Prime Minister provided just now in terms of reading out when they were employed from 2021-0101, in 2020 we had 25 employees there also. Would the Honorable Prime Minister say what has happened to the 25 that was existing that has caused us to get 25 new staff for 2021?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to inform the honorable member that these are not new staff. What we had was an expiration of contract, and now the contract is now taken over by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister.
Sir, that is rather alarming because when we were dealing with the Guyana Defence Force, these 21 staff were catered for in the 2020 budget of the Guyana Defence Force. And then they were transferred in 2021 to Office of the Prime Minister. So how is it that you can say you have now that you had 21 that were existing in 2020? You should get more. So I'm asking the Honorable Prime Minister to further clarify if he can further clarify line item 6116, because if they are renewing the staff, there should be 25 that exist plus the 21 that was added that the Honorable Parliamentary Governance Minister alluded
Honorable
to.
Prime Minister.
I think this should clear the confusion by the honorable member. The staff were given new contracts when they came over onto the list of the Office of the Prime Minister with effect from the 1st of October.
Honorable Prime Minister, is that from the 1st of October or the 1st of January?
Let me explain to you. We took over the staff
Yes.
from the 1st of October. And as the contract came to end, we keep renewing contracts. So when I read out here just now, you had dates when contract would have come to end, and therefore the dates represent a renewal of the contract from that day.
Thank
We
you,
took over the
Honorable
staff
Prime
from the
Minister.
1st of October.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipol.
Sir, I'm still having some difficulties, and I would gladly like for it to be clarified before I go home and sleep with a heavy heart on this matter. Sir, 2020 Guyana Defence Force budget, these 21 staff were catered
Mr. Speaker,
for...
Honorable
Mr.
Prime Minister,
Speaker.
Honorable Prime Minister, just allow him to continue, because remember, he has to reach the number 5 times to ask the same question. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the 2020 budget, which is what I have here that is catered for the Guyana
Right.
Defence Force, these 21 staff were there. So they were there for October, November, and December. They were paid from GDF. Now we move to 2021. The Honorable Parliamentary Governance Minister said that 21 people were taken out of Guyana Defence Force and put into the hands of the Prime Minister, the Civil Defence Commission. The Prime Minister accepted, sir, that the 21 are under his watch. So that means 21 plus 4 is 25. In 2020, the Prime Minister had 25 also, 25 right there. So I'm asking, what has happened to the 25 in 2020 that has caused the number in 2021 to remain as 25, notwithstanding there being 21 CDC added to it?
Honorable Prime Minister, another opportunity to answer the same question.
Mr. Speaker, I could only answer for the Civil Defense Commission. I cannot answer for the Chief. The Honorable Member, Gail Teixeira, answered already for GDF.
Thank you, Honorable
With
Prime
effect
Minister.
from the 4th of October, the staff came over to the office of the Prime Minister.
The Honorable Member, Ms. Nina Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Line item 6255, maintenance of other infrastructure. Can the Honorable Prime Minister say which other infrastructure are we referring to?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, 6255, maintenance of water infrastructure. And the details are installation of perimeter lighting, $2.4 million. At Tamari, that is the alternate National Emergency Operations Center, revetment to the eastern drain, $2 million. That's the Civil Defense Commission headquarters, Georgetown. Shelves for storage containers, $600,000. Again, at the Civil Defense Commission headquarters, and that will give us a grand total of $5 million.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. The Honorable Member, Mr. David Patterson.
Mr. Chair, I'm speaking 6111 to 6117. Stop. All of them, sir. Not
6117,
6111 to 6117.
but you could only speak to 6116, where there's a sum allocated.
Sorry, I'm just taking it in totality. Okay, then. Okay. I'm speaking to 6116. Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Is the can the Honorable Prime Minister say if the Civil Defense Commission, which he said is now under him, are still responsible for the search and rescue operation?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to remind or perhaps inform the Honorable Member
The Honorable
that
House.
the Civil Defense Commission really has a coordinating function. So if they are involved in a search and rescue operation, it's from the point of view of coordinating. The actual work or the actual search will be done by an appropriate agency that is qualified for that. But they will do the coordination in terms of bringing all the resources together and informing the political directorate, from time to time.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister.
Follow-up
Follow-up question by the Honorable Member.
Follow-up question, sir. So in other words, they are the lead coordinating agency of the, and if they are, sir, if they are, Mr. Prime Minister, can you say to us what legislation or who of the 6111 contracted employees is specifically tasked with the search and rescue coordination? And secondly, under what legislation are these persons operating?
Honorable Prime Minister.
There's no legislation and advice, but all staff are involved in the coordinating function, but the actual conduct of the search and rescue will be done by the appropriate agency. As you're aware, as a former minister, that MARAD is responsible for anything pertaining to sea. The Air Corps and the GDF will deal with land-based search and rescue.
Final follow-up question,
Go ahead,
Mr.
Honorable
Chair. As the CDC, as the Honorable Prime Minister just confirmed, is the coordinating team. Did the CDC coordinate the search for the missing boat with the engines and dead persons recently?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Okay, that was not a national disaster. That was a search and rescue mission that was ably coordinated by MARAD. There was no need to involve the CDC there. The CDC obviously would have been informed as what was happening, but there was no need for the CDC to be coordinating that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable members, this is a good time to put the question.
Sir.
Honorable member, Ms. Nina Flobes. The rule is the member that first catches the eye of the speaker. I saw the microphone on. Hold on, members, I'm speaking. I don't need a lecture. I've been around a long time. And I'm telling the honorable members what the convention is. So I don't need to be directed who is first or who is second or who is third. The rule is the convention, who first catches the eye of the speaker. And Miss Nina Flobes caught my eye. So I called her. And if she doesn't want to speak, I can now look again. Honorable member, Mr. Figueroa, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Line item 6116, contracted employees.
Yes.
Honorable Prime Minister, could you say if all of these 25 contracted employees have the same contractual time frame?
Mr. Speaker, I just asked the honorable member to speak up.
6116, contracted employees.
Thank you, honorable member.
Could the Honorable Prime Minister indicate if all of the contracted employees have the same duration in their contractual arrangement?
Honorable Prime Minister.
No, they wouldn't have the same duration because, as you know, contracts of this nature are done individually.
Thank you, honorable Prime Minister. Thank you. Honorable member, Mr. Figueroa, you want a follow-up question?
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Prime Minister, I didn't follow what you were saying. Are you saying no? And if it is no, could you state the shortest contractual arrangement and the longest contractual arrangement?
Thank you,
And
honorable.
more so, could you give the numbers of how much these different contractual arrangements, if there's 5 for 5 years, 7, that type of breakdown would be really appreciate.
Thank
if
you,
there's
honorable
any.
member. Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the shortest contract, I should answer the honorable member, 1 year, and the longest is 3 years. That conforms to what obtains, widely within the public service, in the private sector, wherever.
Thank you.
Honorable member, Mr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Could you indicate how many of the 25 contracted employees have a 1-year contract and how many has a 5-year contract?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Or 3, so be it.
A 3-year contract and a 1-year contract. I do not have that figure.
Final question, Honorable Prime Minister.
No, you first address that to me, not to the Prime Minister. So final question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Comrade Chair. Honorable Prime Minister, could you indicate if all of the 25 contracted employees will be placed on the fixed establishment?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, no, they are contracted employees. There's a decision taken to have them as contracted employees, and they are contracted employees. I cannot predict the future, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable member, Mr. Figueroa.
Honorable Chair, could the Honorable Prime Minister indicate to this House if it is the intention of government to have all contracted employees placed on the fixed establishment?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to say 2 things. One, this is a situation that we inherited of contracted employees. And secondly,
I think the question is irrelevant.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Comrade Chair. I appreciate the Prime Minister recognizing it is a situation he has inherited. But given the fact that that is the situation, could you state what is the government's intention with respect to contracted employees in the government service? Is there the intention to make those contracted employees placed on the fixed establishment? Is your government?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, that is not a question for the Prime Minister. There's an appropriate time during this estimate when you can ask that question. What I can tell you is that this is a practice that was inherited, and there's no reason why we should not continue having contracted employees.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member Figueroa.
Thank you, sir. Sir, with the greatest of respect to the Honorable Prime Minister. Sir, this is your government. And I'm asking if your government has any intention
Mr.
of
Figueroa,
making
the Honorable
workers
Member.
placed on the fixed establishment.
Honorable Member, I think the Prime Minister said there's going to be an appropriate time, I guess. The policy person dealing with contracted employees might. But Honorable Prime Minister, you want to respond?
The question already answered as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Speaker. There's no
Thank
need
you,
for
Honorable
response.
Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Holder.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, given the government's reluctance in renegotiating the oil contract to ensure that oil companies are held.
Could you direct me to a line
Line
item?
item, sorry, Mr. Chair, line item 6284, other. Given the government's reluctance in renegotiating oil contracts to ensure that companies are held responsible for any oil spill per se, is there any provision under this line item or anywhere in the budget, as a matter of fact,
You could only answer for this line item.
to deal with any major oil spill?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes,
I wish to
Honorable Prime
advise the
Minister, go ahead.
honorable member that we are a proactive government, and we have in the budget field testing and training on oil spill equipment. We have a national oil spill plan, and as you know, annually we have what we call exercise trade winds. This year, exercise trade winds will be held in Guyana, and the focus will be on preparing for oil spill.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Holder.
Follow-up question, Mr. Chair. Could the Honorable Minister state how much, what is the allocation catering for the oil spill? I heard him mention that they're doing some training, so forth. So could he give an amount that is allocated?
Honorable Prime Minister, breakdown on the types of training, especially oil spill.
Mr. Speaker, let me advise the honorable member, if you listen carefully to what I said just now, you shouldn't arrive at dealing with figures. However, we have $3 million in our budget for training, but we will also benefit from similar training through our international partners, including exercise training, as mentioned earlier. We do not have the amount that will be expended on providing that training. However, Guyana will benefit from that training.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Honorable Members, I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Program 22, Disaster Preparedness, Response and Management, current expenditure, forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. We can turn to page 618, program 22, capital. And I now propose a question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 22, Disaster Preparedness, Response and Management, capital expenditure forms part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. David Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, to you, can the Honorable Prime Minister disaggregate the amounts of 80 million here? Because in the profile is stated retention, computer building, equipment and furniture. And
Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Retention payment for consultant CDC expansion, headquarters, Georgetown, Region 4, $624,073. Retention payment, CDC expansion, headquarters, LETEM, Region 9, $6,968,394. Retention payment for consultant on LETEM warehouse, LETEM Region 9, $470,854. Retention payment on LETEM warehouse, retention payment on LETEM warehouse Region 9, sorry, I mentioned that already. Rollover for perimeter fence, LETEM warehouse, Region 9, $6,170,460. Construction of CDC headquarters, Georgetown, Region 4, $35 million. Construction of 3 guard huts at CDC headquarters, an alternative National Emergency Operations Center at the Mary, $4 million. 24 beds for LETEM, Region 9, $2 million. 8 air conditioning units for Georgetown, Region 4, $1.2 million. 15 laptops, $5,589,000. 6 executive desks, Georgetown, Region 4, $1.5 million. 6 executive office chairs, $360,000. 15 office desks, $1.2 million. 30 office chairs, $900,000. 12 conference tables, $1,440,000. 30 conference chairs, $1,650,000. ATV battery charger for LETEM, Region 9, $45,000. 2 flat screen television, 50-inch, Georgetown, Region 4, $900,000. 2 10-ton jack, Georgetown, Region 4, $151,792. 4 wireless headset, Georgetown, Region 4, $151,792. 1 mobile projector screen with stand, Georgetown, Region 4, $40,000. 1 small compressor, Georgetown, Region 4, $35,000. And that gave us a total of $80 million.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable members, this is a good time to put the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 22, Disaster Preparedness, Response and Management, capital expenditure, forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, we can now move to program 023, pages 82 and 83, and let us give the Honorable Prime Minister staff for power an opportunity to get in place. We're dealing with power generation. I think I'm recognizing GA. PM, GPL is coming with you too. Honorable members, I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 22, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 23, Agencies 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 23, Power Generation, current expenditure, stands part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just let me say that there's only one line item here, so I hope I don't have to keep referring back to it every time I ask a question. Okay? That's satisfactory. There's only one subsidies to local organizations.
Yes, Honorable, but you will have some latitude, right?
Pardon?
It's subsidies to national.
So I'm asking on that line.
Yes.
There's several agencies. I'm just saying I hope I don't have to repeat it like that.
Thank you.
Every time I ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I start off with Kokwani Utilities, Inc. And there's a sum of 490 million there. Can the Honorable Prime Minister, sir? No. All right, my apologies, but I think the Prime Minister is confused. Subsidy, there's only one, under this line here, there's only one item. Correct. Correct. The 6321 is the only item on this, on the current. And is the Prime Minister with me? Thank you very much, sir. So I'm asking on the subsidies and contributions to local organizations. And I've asked permission, the chair, to ask, without referring, to ask questions in any order on this here. And I started off with Kokwani. And so I will just let the, not a detail, just an overview what the sum include, the $490 million, what is the purpose and the money is here for. And then ask for every, you know.
Honorable Member, this is for Kokwani, right?
Correct.
Right.
I started.
Honorable Prime Minister. Yes, Cummings, you can stay in this other chair too, you know.
Mr. Speaker, in the 2021 budget, we have $490 million here to cover Kokwani. We have the breakdown with everything.
No, Mr. Chair, sorry, I just, Mr. Prime Minister, all I'm saying is there's 490 million to cover Kokwani. That's it. Just a brief overview, 20 seconds. what are you covering with the 490? I didn't ask for a breakdown.
Papuani Utilities is a special place, and it's not just electricity. We covering water, right, sanitation, you know, for Papuani. So basically everything that is considered utilities is covered for Papuani. It's $490 million.
Thank you. Honorable Member, Mr.
That's the answer I was looking for, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't off track, sir. Mr. Chair, in the 2020 budget speech, the Honorable Member, Mr. Indar, stated that Kokwani is owed $81 million, and the Honorable Prime Minister is carrying a cabinet paper for emergency fundings for Kokwani. So I checked, and the disbursement here is exactly the same. Well, it's actually a few dollars more than they got in 2021. Can the Honorable Prime Minister say where in this, with $81 million, what the Honorable Member said you went to Cabinet for to disperse as an emergency to Kokwani?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we're talking about 2021 budget here. I have the figures for the 2021 budget. The Honorable Member is asking about 2020.
Mr. Chair, I think you have to clarify for me and for the Hansard and for everyone in Guyanese here. The 2020 budget is an estimate of what they're going to do. 2021 comes and there's the estimate of what they're going to do in 2021. But are you saying that we can't ask if you completed what you said you were going to do in 2020? Or so therefore, for the record.
Honorable Member, what I'm saying is that sums allocated for 2020 you can't ask for. However, if I were you, I may have said, did we pay that sum? And if we didn't, is it included in this 400?
Mr. Chair, that's exactly what I'm trying to find out, sir.
Thank you very much.
They are right. There's $81 million claim. Is the $81 million included in this 490?
Honorable Prime Minister, did we pay last year? If not, is it included here?
Mr. Speaker, listed here, we had $322.8 million budget as at up to the end of September. And the revised budget, which was the emergency budget, obviously, which catered from the 1st of October to the end of the year, we had an additional $147,348,000. That brings us to a revised position at the end of the year of $470,184,000. It's obvious that what was required for Papuani for the rest of the year, 2020, was provided for in the emergency budget. So your sum that you were talking about there, perhaps with a little bit more research, you will find that it is part of that emergency budget.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member,
so
Mr. Patterson.
can I ask, sir, in the 2021, so therefore, obviously, Kokwani Utilities has no outstanding liabilities, and this no outstanding liabilities for 2021, I mean, obviously, and this money, this 490 is for everything. There's no outstanding monies, no liabilities to Kokwani.
Honorable Prime Minister, this sum doesn't cater for any outstanding liabilities.
The simplest answer I could offer is no.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Sorry, you mute my mic.
No, I have no control over your mic.
Yeah.
Not as yet.
Not as yet, sir. Moving on, sir. As I said, I'm going down just in no particular order, sir. I have Lynn Mine, a sum of $2.3 billion was paid for in Lynn Mine. In 2020, the sum paid was 4.5 billion, and in 2019 it was excess of 3 billion. Can I ask can I ask the reduction to the Prime Minister?
Honorable Prime Minister, the reduction, is that sufficient?
The reduction is sufficient, Mr. Speaker, because as the honorable member did mention, we paid 4.4 billion in 2020, and that covers shortfall in payments to both sides of 1.059 billion for 2018 and 2019, and 1.038 billion for VAT for 2018 and 2019 were covered in the 2020 budget. The 2021 budgeted amount is based on projected energy consumption and fuel costs, and with the exclusion of VAT. So that will cover the figure here, 2.3 billion is for 2020.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Right, sir, once again, in the 2020 budget debate, the Honorable Member Indar made a bold statement that Lynn Miners owns $728 million. Is that $728 million included in the 2.3 billion that you have allocated this year?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as I recall saying, that we covered all the expenses, all the arrears, and it stands to reason that that will be included.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister.
So I consider the honorable member question answered.
Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Guyana Energy Authority, GEA. Nothing of any relevance. Yes, sir. Can the Honorable Prime Minister provide us, well, I hope you would lay it over the general summary on the staffing complement of the GEA that is catered for in the 329 million.
Honorable Member, just a bit of clarification for me. Do you want a layover or a presentation and layover?
I asked if you could lay it over, but generally, I have a follow-up question, that's why I asked. But I don't want the details of...
Okay.
Right, so...
An overview and layover.
Pardon?
You want an overview quickly and a layover?
Overview, so you could tell me how many employees there are. And
Honorable Prime Minister.
More. No, don't tell me the cleaners.
Mr. Speaker, 114 staff, and I can read them out.
You can lay it over, Honorable Prime Minister.
I can lay it over.
I was asking, sir, 114 staff is excellent. Are you catering for additional staff hires? That was the general overview I wanted, and then one follow-up question. In this.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the GA has one vacancy that will be filled. I can assure you it will be filled in 2021.
Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Sir, that same line item that we have there, sir. We have what can I confirm something that the Guyana Power and Light is under the office of the Prime Minister?
You're asking me or asking the Prime
Well, I'm asking you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Prime Minister.
The Guyana Power and Light is coordinated by the Prime Minister.
Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Great, sir. And so can I ask, sir, in the Minister of Finance budget speech, he says, if you can recall, $2 billion has been allocated to address the arrears of GPL. can the Honorable Prime Minister say where this is this located?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, that body was transferred from the Ministry of Finance to GPL to cover the arrears, unpaid bills by many government agencies, and that is an exercise that had started since last year when we had to transfer $6 billion. So this is an additional $2 billion. And we still have, by my estimation, another $8 billion to go to clear all expenses owed to GPL.
Owed to GPL or owed by GPL?
Owed to GPL.
Owed to GPL.
So let me confirm what the Prime Minister is saying, that this money has already been transferred. Because Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, you did hear that, huh?
No, I understand the Prime Minister to be saying that the transfers of funds to GPL come from the Ministry of Finance for outstanding liabilities from government too.
So, and I hope you will remember that.
No, that's
when
my understanding, but I can ask for clarification.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Please.
And he's saying that $2 billion is going to be taken care of in this budget. Yeah.
Mr.
Honorable
Chairman,
Prime Minister, just an affirmation. That
Minister of Finance will answer, but it is here in the budget.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify that those amounts are budgeted under the Ministry of Finance under electricity charges, so we will deal with it when we come to Agency 3.
Thank you, Honorable Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance. The Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Sir, we go back to Hinterland Electrification Corporation, sir. I'd ask the same question that I asked with GA. Overview the staff, sir, the 2020 complement and the 2021 complement staffing.
Honorable Prime Minister, Hinterland Electrification.
HECI has 9 staff, and they intend to employ an additional 3 staff before the end of 2021.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson, you want to follow up because I saw the microphone for the Honorable Kemraj Ramchatan. No, it was an accident. Honorable Minister, honorable members, so looks like a good time to put the question that the Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Mr. Chair, could the Honorable Prime Minister say from the Hinterland Electrification Company Incorporated, how much of that 61 million plus is allocated to the upgrading of the St. Cuthbert's electrification grid?
Honorable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, 15 million is budgeted to upgrade distribution network at St. Cuthbert's Mission.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr.
Just a clarification, is that under this line item, 6381?
Honorable Prime Minister. The Honorable Member is asking if it is catered for under this subsidies to local organizations.
That's a capital expenditure.
Yeah.
But the question was asked, so should I deny the Honorable Member to answer this question? Mr. Speaker, I'm guided here.
Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, I think the capital part is going to come up at page 618 and 619, right?
Sir, just for the record, sir, you have to, for the record, somebody should state that response there is for capital as opposed to current. If not, it's not clarified.
Well, I have stated the sum for agency 2, program 23, power generation, current expenditure. That's the proposal that I put, right? We're going to get to that. Honorable members, I now put the question. Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Mr. Chair, in light of the confusion that this seemed to have caused my colleagues, I wish to withdraw that question and pose it at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable members, I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Program 23, Power Generation, current expenditure, I now put the question that sum forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. We can now turn to pages 618 and 619. And I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 23, Power Generation, capital expenditure, forms part of the estimates. The Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Mr. Chair, I will pose the correct question, as my colleague is alluding to, of the sum allocated for hinterland electrification. Could the Honorable Prime Minister say how much is allocated for the grid upgrade in St. Gabriel's Mission? Thank you.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, upgrade of distribution network at St. Cuthbert's Mission, $15 million.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Well, sir, on the same line item, sir, the hinterland electrification, sir, the construction of distribution network K2. How much is catered for that? And is this sum, sir, for to carry the transmission distribution, to carry K2 to the AP and UAFC project, which is the K2's hydroelectrical?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, construction of a distribution network for the K2 hydro power project, $80 million.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Same line item, same question, sir. Under the APNU government, sir, the distribution network was to extend all the way to Paramakatoy. Is the Prime Minister saying...
Just a clarification for me. All the way to Paramakatoy from K2?
Yes.
Okay.
Right? Because that was catered for, that was budget $1 million US, sir. Has the government through the Prime Minister's office disbanded this the provision of supplying electricity to Paramakatoy?
Honorable Prime Minister.
I'm advised, Mr. Speaker, that plan was changed 2 years ago. Bear in mind, we only assumed office on the 2nd of August. But this plan was changed 2 years ago by the government at that time and the IDB.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Sir, I'd like to tell the Honorable Prime Minister he's advised incorrectly, and I provide you the information. Sir,
the question, Honorable Member.
That was not a question, sir. It's a statement. You was incorrectly advised, but I wouldn't go there at the moment, sir. Sir, can I continue?
Honorable.
Sir,
Member.
procurement of generator, same line item as the deputy speaker started there. I mean, I have to go on, but I'm following up on a good question by the deputy speaker. Karasabai, Madia, and Port Kaituma generators for those, sirs. Can the honorable member, one, say how much is budgeted for community, and two, when last were generators procured for these three communities?
Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Prime Minister.
For Madhya, 2019, and for Port Kaituma, 2019. Engines were procured in 2019 for both locations. Answer your question.
Honorable, you want to answer that?
No,
question?
sir, I asked what are the costs for the ones that you're going for
Honorable Prime
community,
Minister, the
and
cost?
when last did they? That was
Thank
the
you very
question I
much.
asked.
We are procuring additional engines, one for Madhya, $30 million, and one for Port Kaituma, $50 million.
Thank you,
For
Honorable.
Rasabai, $8 million.
Honorable member, if he doesn't stand and address the chair with a question, please ignore it. Honorable members, I just want to bring your attention to the time. We are supposed to finish this particular agency at 3:30. In fact, we added on some 13 minutes that we saved from the previous head. So just let's keep our eyes on the clock. Honorable member, Mr. Patterson.
Mr. Chair, can the Honorable Prime Minister, well, I'll ask it here since I can ask it somewhere. Can the Honorable Prime Minister state to this House what is the tariff that the people of Cato will be paying per unit of electricity after the completion of the hydro project?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm advised there is a plan to charge $54 per kilowatt hour.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable member, Mr. Patterson.
Sir, Mr. Chair, I mean, I'll come off with that quickly because you set out the time. But if time permits, I will like the option to return. Sir, power utility upgrade program. There is a sum of $1.8 billion budgeted for 2021. First question, Mr. Chair,
Speaker, we just need a minute to change around.
Honorable member, you may ask a question.
Sir, PUUP, sir. So there's 1.8 billion budgeted, sir. Can I ask the Honorable Prime Minister if this includes Lot A, B, and payment, and C?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the sum include the following. Lot A, 319 kilometer of rehabilitation, Retention, 186.3 million, and Lot B, 310 millimeter rehabilitation, 1.217 billion.
Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
So I can, so the Lot C has not been included in the 2021 budget from the response. Is the Honorable Prime Minister aware, sir, can I ask him? Sir, when is this loan coming to an end?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'll just ask the honorable member to repeat the question.
Honorable Member.
Sir, I'm seeking to inquire when does the loan come to the end? Is the IDB loan, PUUP? The Honorable Prime Minister saying no part of Lot C is included in this. I'm just trying to establish officially when does the loan come to an end? The loan period extensions and everything like that.
Honorable Prime Minister.
The loan comes to an end, Mr. Speaker, on the 10th of October 2021.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Can the Honorable Prime Minister state, just for the record, sir, the completion percentage overall of this project as of today, or
Honorable Prime Minister.
I'll ask the honorable member to repeat the question, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable.
The loan comes to end in 2021. So I'm asking the Honorable Prime Minister, what is the overall percentage of completion in the PUUP under this loan as of today or as of the most recent update he has?
Honorable Prime Minister.
The project is 75% completed, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you very much. Can the Honorable Prime Minister state what is the current percentage? Because the very first item is the reduction of loss, provision for loss reduction, which is obviously, so with 75% completed, sir, can the Honorable Prime Minister state what is the loss reduction, currently loss reduction at 75% completion of the program?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Advise that the current loss is 28%.
Thank you. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Sir, time is mindful, sir. So the Prime Minister can provide a response in vacuum for the Guyana people. What was the loss at the start of the program? You're at 28%. Has this increased or reduced from the start of the program? Or what is it, sir?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm advised that it has increased from just over 30% to now 26%.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Sir, so the member is acknowledging that there has been a 5% reduction in line loss over the last 6 years at GPL from when you started to now.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm advised this is not a reduction in line loss alone. It's a reduction in total loss for the sector.
Thank you. Honorable member.
Yes, sir, I'm moving on. I'm just looking at the time, sir, but I acknowledge it's both commercial and technical combined. But you never, you didn't answer, sir, that over the last 6 years, the losses from GPL has been reduced by 5%. That was the question I asked Mr. Prime Minister.
Honorable Prime Minister, is it over the 6 reduction in losses?
I accept the statement, Mr. Speaker. 5% over 6 years, as mentioned.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable
Sir,
member,
just as
Mr.
a
Patterson.
follow-up, and if the Prime Minister could hand it over in writing, the cost, the money equivalent for the 5% reduction over the last 5 years, sir. I mean, I know you wouldn't have it to him in the moment, so I'd ask if the Prime Minister is willing to hand that over, lay that over, the equivalent for the 5% reduction in the last 6 years.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Prime Minister has acknowledged he is prepared to lay that over. Honorable members.
Sir, moving on quickly, sir, if we go to the next one, Sustainable Energy Program.
I just wanted to ask Mr. Holder if he wanted to follow up on your... No, it's no follow-up, so go ahead, Honorable Member. Mr. Patterson.
I don't want to monopolize the floor. Sustainable Energy Program. Sir, there's the construction and hydropower scheme at Keto. Sir, can the Honorable Prime Minister say when this project was started? Can the Honorable Prime Minister say how many times over the life of this project was it tendered? And when was the award made? And when will it be completed?
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the contract was awarded in September 2019 after being tendered twice. Project started in March, the project should have completed in March 2021, but as it is, it's only 20% completed, 25% completed now, and the new completion date is December 31st, 2020.
Sir, just for clarification,
Honorable
sir,
Member.
just for clarification, when the Prime Minister said twice, he means 2 times before the final award, or you say once?
Honorable Prime Minister, what does twice represent? One current and one previous?
I'm advised that this project was tendered twice before it was awarded under the current timeline that I gave you just.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister.
Moving on, sir, moving on. I don't want to put the Prime Minister any more
But you
difficult.
want to give Mr.
Yes,
Holder an
Mr. Holder.
opportunity before you move on?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. project code, I'm actually going to ask a question on project code 2610000. Um, Mr. Chair, while this is a continuation of the coalition plan, in 2020 we noticed that a budgeted allocation was there for 218 million. And we heard a lot of plans on how that would improve the lives of people in the hinterland because these are solar systems for households in the hinterland communities. But a careful look at the budget, if you look at the budget, you will see that they failed to spend a single dollar for 2020. So my question is, now they're asking for 500 million, which is more than twice that amount. It's still just about a quarter of the total amount for the project. So my question is to the Honorable Minister, why has the government failed to execute that leg of the project and how they intend to correct those missteps this time around to ensure that they have that technical capacity and administrative will to spend these huge sums of money in 2021?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this project is still with the government of India, and I guess we have to wait a little while before everything is sorted out for us to move forward with it.
I didn't get that. Sorry, Mrs. Chair. I couldn't hear the response by
Can you repeat, Honorable Prime Minister? The Honorable Member did not hear.
This project is funded through the government of India. So we have to wait until everything is sorted out before it can be delivered to the people of Guyana.
Thank you, Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Right, sir. Just a follow-up on Mr. Holder's.
I'm just at 3:31, a minute over the allocated time for this agency. No, you could ask this last question, then I'll put the rest.
I want to ask the last question. Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't even have to follow up, sir, because we deduct that from my thing. Sir, I just want to, on Energy Matrix Diversification Program, which is 2609500. And there is installation of mini grids in Bartica. I'm asking, sir, in particular, well, I have several questions, but the first one is can the Honorable Prime Minister confirm, this, inform on the status of the tenders for Bartica, Madia, Letem? Sir.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Bartica and Madia, Bartica and Letem, sorry, been awarded. Whereas at Madia, we're completing the environmental impact assessment, and after then, this will go through the process for it to be awarded.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable members, I will now start putting the question.
Sir,
I will now have to put Agency 2, Program 23, Power Generation. And I put the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Office of the Prime Minister, Program 23, Power Generation, Capital Expenditure, forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. I will now put the question that Agency 2, Program 24, Telecommunications and Innovation, current expenditure, forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Program 24, Capital Expenditure, forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. I now put the question for Agency 2, Program 25, Government Information and Communication Services current expenditure forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. I now put the question for Agency 2, Program 25, Government Information and Communication Services.
Sorry,
Capital
Mr. Speaker, with
capital,
deep respect, we have questions on
on,
the other areas.
deep regrets, Honorable Member. The time allocated for this agency is 1.5 hours. We actually took 1 hour and 47 minutes. The program, the time program for this is 2 to 3:30. And as we have said, when the time expires, we will have to put, not propose, put the questions for the other head. My deep regrets, my dear, we're about to now take the vote on capital expenditure for program 25. Thank you. Honorable members, I again put the question that the sum stated for Agency 2, Program 25, Government Information and Communication Services, capital expenditure, forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Let me thank the Honorable Prime Minister and his staff for taking us through his agency, which has concluded at 3:35.50. We are now preparing to receive the Minister and his staff for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs. Honorable Attorney General, no staff. You're doing this all by yourself. So let us give the staff of the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs. Honorable members, I wouldn't start the clock running until they're settled. In the meanwhile, we can turn to pages 400 and 401. Thank you. Honorable members, we will start at 338.16. Honorable members, I now propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 521, Policy Development and Administration, current expenditure, forms part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Mahi Paul.
Thank you, sir. Sir, line item 6113 and 6116. I noticed in 2020 there were no staff there, but notwithstanding that monies were paid or used there to pay who I don't know, but I see that they have one staff each for each line item in 2021. Could the Honorable Minister be kind enough to say what is the designation of those two staff in each line item and why were monies used from the line item in 2020 when there were no staff there?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Honorable Minister.
thank you very much, sir. Sir, there was a combination of programs, 521 Main Office and 522 Ministry Administration, which were renamed 521 Policy Development Administration with effect from October 2020. And that has caused a number of the differentials that honorable members would observe on the accounting architecture of this agency.
Sir, a follow-up. I
Honorable
do
member.
notice on the, if I hear the Honorable Minister, and if you turn to the next page, it's the one that is merged, I'm guessing, with program 521. But there are expenditure for 2020 in 522 that caters for those two staff. And I'm recognizing that there are also expenditure catered to them in 521. But the staff in details show that there are no staff there in 2020, but they are now in 2021. But monies were used in 2020 from the line item to pay who? I don't know. Could the Honorable Minister help me out here?
Honorable Minister.
Sir, I'm told that the person was on the previous program up to October and then transferred over to the new program from October to December 2020.
Could the Honorable Minister go that back, please?
The person is $300,000 for 3 months, from October to December. But they were under the different program, the previous program, from January to September.
Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipal.
Sir, with all due respect, they are reflected in the second program. They are reflected there with monies allocated. They are reflected there with the sum of money allocated, and they're also reflected in the first program with money allocated. So if you are catering for them in this document under one program, then one would expect them not to be mentioned in a second program with the same money. So could the Minister please clarify?
Honorable Member, before you clarify,
yes, sir.
you may want to pay the courtesy to the House by standing.
For the
By standing when you reply.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sir, I'm advised that they were projected for and provided for from January to September under one heading, and then from October to December in another program. I don't understand why my friend doesn't understand that.
Number 5. The number 5 is magical. Honorable Member,
Maybe
Mr.
because I stood up, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, may I ask what are the designations for the two employees now reflected on the line item 6116? Their salaries and other benefits also.
Honorable Attorney General.
A telephonist, sir, 70,000, and a system development officer, 120,000.
Sir, may I
Honorable
ask?
Member, Mr. Mahipal.
Thank you, sir. May I ask for line item 6273? Could the Honorable Minister be kind enough to say if the Program Policy Development and Administration and the Program Attorney General's Chamber, is it housed under one building? Are the two programs housed in one building?
Yes,
Prime
sir.
Minister.
Yes, sir, they are.
Honorable Member, Mr. McIntyre.
Sir, are there any other building outside of the building at Carmichael Street that is catered for under policy development and administration?
Honorable
Same line
Attorney
item.
General.
The line item that my friend may have been referring to is 6241, rental of buildings. There is a building being rented there, sir, at 341 East Street, South Commingsburg, Georgetown. And that building, sir, we had, that's where the IDB program, Justice Improvement Program, is being accommodated. It used to have been accommodated at a building in Hatfield Street. When we inherited government, that building was being rented for 880,000. We got a, and the building, the area there, sir, the locality there, sir, the staff were complaining that the vehicles were being vandalized and there were inadequate parking places. We found a new building at East Street, and we are paying less rent, 625,500, with a lot of parking places.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney General and Honorable Member, Mr. Mahibod.
Sir, 6131, the line item that caters for acting allowances and duty allowances. Can the Honorable Minister be kind enough to say how many staff are in his ministry performing additional duties or acting in other capacity other than the one we are employed under?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
The staff referred to in that column, sir, are 5 drivers and 2 clerks. You want the actual $10,000 and 3,000 something.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahibod.
Sir, the vacancies that exist in the ministry, is the Attorney General and his chamber engaging the Public Service Commission to fill those vacancies, and how soon do we expect those vacancies to be filled so that the full capacity of the work at this chamber can go on?
Could the Honorable
Honorable
Member
Minister.
6131, Anna.
direct me to the
Honorable
line item? What you were asking me whether we are. I will answer the question. When the new government took office, sir, there were a number of vacancies in the professional component of the ministry, both in the department of the Chief Parliamentary Counsel, as well as in litigation and advice. And sir, we have constantly have been filling these vacancies as we have received applications. My friend would know that we are dealing with lawyers, and lawyers become available only at certain time of the year when the law school graduate its graduates. And sir, we also have a physical space problem at the ministry. Quite frankly, we would like to hire much more, or many more, professional staff. If my friend looks at the capital portion of the budget, he will see that the building itself is undergoing massive expansion, and that is precisely to cater for more staff. And all the staff, or most of the staff who are hired to fill these professional posts, are being done via the Public Service Ministry.
Thank you, Honorable AG. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahibod.
Thank you, sir. Would the Honorable Minister be kind enough to give us a breakdown of line items 6284 and 6294?
Honorable AG.
I did hear what my friend wants me to do it.
A breakdown for
Breakdown.
the line item 6284 and 6294. You want a layover or
No, sir. I will. 6284, sir, caters for provision there for the ministry to acquire um, certain computer antivirus programs, and we are paying, sir, for certain um, computer programs, Microsoft, etc. It allows us better access and better quality to these programs. That's 6284. And I'm told, sir, that the other one deals with in-service attachments. So as part of the professional training at the regional law schools, the students are required to do attachments with lawyers and with legal offices, including the Attorney General's office. And annually, we have been accommodating students who are prepared to come to the chambers for experience and attachments.
Honorable Member Mr. Mahito.
Sir, the use of the word certain is very ambiguous. May I ask the Honorable Minister to lay over what exactly they're going to spend 6284 on in terms of the program, the type of program? We must know what kind of program they're going to purchase and install.
Honorable Minister.
What program are you referring to, sir?
Program that you talked about.
This is the
628.
services, not so much the computers.
Oh, 84
and 94.
This Microsoft. Let me read it. You want to read technical? All right, let me read it out to you.
He wants a layover on
Windows software. These are technical terms that I'm not okay with. Computer software features, antivirus 1-year subscription, Microsoft Office Pro license, Windows, etc.
Thank you. Honorable Member, Mr. Christopher Jones, Opposition Chief Whip.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. Comrade Chairman, question to the Honorable Minister, line item 6311, rates and taxes. Could the Honorable Minister indicate if this is the rates and taxes for the Carmichael Street building, and if there's any other building in Georgetown, and if rates and taxes will be paid for those two as well, and the amounts?
Honorable Minister.
Yes, sir. Through you, Mr. Chairman, it's only one building we're paying rates and taxes for, and that's at 95 Carmichael Street, Georgetown.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. Just a quick follow-up to conform with the Honorable AG that the Mayor City Council requires rates and taxes to be paid in the first quarter. Is this an assurance that this sum will be paid to the Mayor City Council in this quarter?
Honorable Minister.
Well, it would be a great abdication of responsibility, sir. If I come here and I project the money and the accounting officer doesn't pay it.
Thank you very much, sir. Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Mr. Chair, would the Honorable Attorney General, I'm struggling maybe because I'm new to budget, but would the Honorable Attorney General direct me as to where I could find a quantum that would be dedicated to the recently established Law Reform Commission?
Line item, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Sir, I will assist the Honorable Member. It's in a different program.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I now put the question. that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 521, Policy Development and Administration, current expenditure, forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated doth forms part of the estimates. If we can turn to page 666. We'll deal with 999 shortly. And I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Program 521, Policy Development and Administration, Capital Expenditure, forms part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Kemraj Ramjitan.
Mr. Chairman, could I just have a disassembly segregation of what this 325 million will go to? In relation, I notice it's 1 to 6. If we could have alternative sentencing intervention, but if and I could just say how much is going for 1, 2, 3, 4.
Item 150, 1500, Justice Sector Program.
Yes,
Honorable.
sir. Yes, sir. This is the Justice Improvement Program that I referred to in my budget speech and a few moments ago. It's a multi-year program, and the question asked by my friend, the answer is as follows. Design and implementation of restorative justice program, 9,340,800. Implementation of case management and court scheduling system, $122,432,242. Pre-trial detention interventions, 4,170,000. Component 2, alternative sentence intervention, $45,713,203. Strengthening of probation services, $72,795,000. Support to the Law Reform Commission, Mr. Honorable Member Schumann, $42,742,500. Law Revision, $60,137,900. Component 3, project implementation, 11,488,350,000. And in these provisions also will be the prosecutorial program that I spoke about, the training of the persons who have LLB degrees, enrolling them into a program at the University of Guyana. The syllabus is being designed, and a lecturer will be paid also, and the university also will be paid for managing the program, accommodating the program at the university, and for certifying it in the end with some form of certification.
Thank you, Honorable Member Mr. Ramjitan.
And that last part, the how many people you propose projected for the end of the year being also qualified and certified?
We put an advertisement out, and we have received, sir, over, the last time I checked, was over 65 persons expressing interest. These are persons with the Bachelor of Laws degree. Once I clarify, sir, issues like salaries, etc., I anticipate that we will get a greater response, and that also that figure does not include police prosecutors who are currently in the system and who we intend to engraft into the program.
Thank you, Honorable H.E. The Honorable Member, Mr. Mahi Paul.
Thank you, sir. Project code 1201300. The project entails completion of extension of building, and it started in October of 2020. Could the Honorable AG indicate when will this building be completed? And maybe he did mention last year, but I may have forgotten, where is this building located?
Honorable AG.
As the honorable member may be aware, the contract, we are operating on the signed contract, obviously, awarded under the Procurement Act by the Tender Board, and that contract has a fixed date of completion, 31st of March, and the project is on its way.
Thank you, Honorable Member Mr. Mahito.
Sir, I also asked, where is it located?
Where?
The building, where is the building located?
The expansion is an expansion of the current Attorney General building at 95 Carmichael Street, going back and to the side.
Thank you, Honorable AG. Honorable members, this is a good time to put the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 521, Policy Development and Administration Capital Expenditure forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated now forms part of the estimates. We can turn to pages 404 and 405. Just trying to get some guidance here. We may have missed ahead. Sorry, that's Ministry of Legal Affairs. So we're going to go over to page 404 and 405, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Attorney General's Chambers. And I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 523, Attorney General's Chambers, current expenditure, forms part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Mahito.
Thank you, sir. Sir, earlier, the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs was kind enough to indicate that the Policy Development and Administration Program and the Attorney General's Chamber, they're housed in one building. I turn your attention to line item 6273 first. I see that there are water charges for monies allocated there and also in program 521. If it's one building, I'm assuming also that it's one line that is carrying water to the building. And I find it strange that there are two allocations in two separate programs housed in one building. Can the Honorable Attorney General clarify, please?
Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Chairman, that question has always puzzled me, but that's always how it was. I don't know why, but every year my friend can go back and check for the last 30 years, I suppose, that one building, but there are different accounts charging water, and I believe telephone as well. Those are the same set of telephone lines. But you look at the amount, it's 2 million and something there. So.
Honorable Member, Mr. Mahito.
Sir, I take note of the Honorable Minister's response. It has even puzzled him, and I would like to suggest, sir, if I may, that we need to correct it. Because if it's one building, then there should be one charge, because I don't think that there are more than one lines.
Honorable Member, I take your advice, but if I call on the Honorable Minister of Finance, who is very qualified in finance matters, and share my own experiences, when you have different cost centers in the same overhead, you tend to allocate portions so you can get a true picture of the cost for operating a particular program within the building. So that's why it's done. Honorable Minister of Finance, you want to offer some assistance, please?
No, Mr. Chairman, you're absolutely correct that to the extent, it's not always easy to do, but to the extent that we can apportion the costs associated with each program, we try to. Like I said, this is an imprecise science, but there are instances where we can ascertain or try to associate costs to the program. So exactly as you said, you're absolutely correct.
Thank you, Honorable Minister responsible for finance, Honorable Member Mr. Mahipon.
Sir, line item 6281. Does the same explanation hold? Because there is a charge there for security services. And on the first program, Policy Development and Administration, there's also a cost in there for security services. Does the same explanation hold?
I think it might be ditto as the answer.
No, sir. There's a slight difference here. The provision here is for security services that are provided at the residence of a drafting consultant. And that is part of that person's contract.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney General. Honorable Member Mr. Mahipon.
Thank you, sir. Would the Honorable AG be kind enough to give a layover, a breakdown of 6284, a sum of 115 million?
Honorable AG, the layover.
No, sir, I'll read it out. If I may, sir.
You may.
Sir, as I have said publicly on a number of occasions, the AG office will be executing a number of projects which include constitutional reform through this very assembly here, the Constitutional Reform Committee. A specific task will be carried out in relation to the reformation of electoral laws to strengthen our electoral process. We are promulgating a series of new legislation, including arbitration bill, and a new arbitration bill that requires training and public awareness with the judiciary, with the bar, including my friend, Mr. Ramjatan. We are budgeting here, sir, also for discharge of AML-CFT obligations, which fall under the ministry. We are also providing here for online libraries, LexisNexis, etc., advertisements and public outreach that they eventuate due to these programs. Yes, sir, those are some of the major components of the expenditure.
Thank you, Honorable AG. Honorable Member Mr. Mahipon. Thank you. Honorable members, it's a good time to put...
Sorry, forgive me, sir. 6264. Would the Honorable Attorney General be kind enough to say how many vehicles are assigned to the Ministry of Legal Affairs in
Honorable
total?
Minister.
It's for the routine maintenance of 2 vehicles, sir.
Thank you, Honorable AG. It's now a good time to put the question, Mr. Mahipon, Honorable Member. Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 523, Attorney General Chambers current expenditure forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum that stated now forms part of the estimates. If we can turn our attention to page 523. Sorry, 666, Program 523, Capital. Here. I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 523, Attorney General Chambers, capital expenditure forms part of the estimates. I put the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 523, Attorney General Chambers, capital expenditure forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum now stands part of the estimates. We can turn to pages 406 and 407. And I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 524, State Solicitor, current expenditure forms part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipur.
Sir, 6116.
Go
Sir,
ahead.
may I ask if this is the salary for the state solicitor?
6116. Honorable Attorney General.
Several years ago, sir, there was a amalgamation of the Office of State Solicitor, Public Trustee, and Official Receiver. And instead of having three persons performing those functions, it was found to be expedient to pay one person. And that has been the position for a very long time. And that is the office of the person holding. That's the salary remuneration of the person holding those three offices. It has been so under my predecessor as well.
Thank you, Honorable AG. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipur. Thank you very much. I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 524, State Solicitor, current expenditure forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum now stands part of the estimates. We can turn our attention to page 666. And I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 524, State Solicitor, Capital Expenditure, forms part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipur.
So there's only one project code here, 2501700. May I ask the Honorable Attorney General, what equipment are we looking to purchase here?
Honorable.
Through you, sir, one inverter AC unit, 24,000 BTU, 3 stand fans, 1 color printer, 1 fire extinguisher.
Thank you very much. I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 52, Ministry of Legal Affairs, Program 524, State Solicitor, Capital Expenditure forms part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum now stands part of the estimates. Let me thank the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs and his staff for taking us through that agency.
Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable members, at this moment, noting that we have to mobilize our staff for the next agency, I propose we take the suspension and we come back at 4:12 and 21 seconds. Sorry, 5:12. Stand suspended.
We are a peace.